Grateful to be here. Thank you for coming to my talk. So what I want to share with you is something that is the most amazing discovery of my life. And maybe you might think the same way too if you become familiar with this work. Imagine another dimension of life. Imagine a hidden dimension, like a subterranean dimension that drives everything that we can see. But this dimension is hidden. It's not readily accessible. We were never taught about it. We hear about it from scientists or from New Age people or stuff like that, but no one has ever really revealed this dimension, and that it is responsible for this hidden dimension, this invisible dimension is responsible for everything that we see and everything that we do in the physical world. And if you're aware of this dimension, it can give you profound insight in ways that you never dreamed possible about what's happening above, what's happening in the world that we operate in. And this is what I'm going to be sharing with you tonight. My work is called Energy Awareness Training. I'm the developer and founder of this method, and it's unlike anything I'm aware of in the world today. And I'm thrilled because I'm so grateful to Joel and Antoni for having me here. They're among my favorite people, dear friends and students of mine. And when they revealed their work to me, I thought, wow, what a parallel. The parallel between personality hacking and energy awareness training. Because everybody knows what a personality is, but you guys are studying this at a deeper level, at a way to be able to do the same thing I just mentioned, to learn things about people that aren't readily available without this training. But to be able to see things, to be able to read behaviors, to be able to know people at a deeper fundamental level. And that opens up so many different opportunities and ways for you to help people in the therapeutic and in sales and healing, etc. So kudos to all of you for being here. And this is my crowd. I love people who want to explore. I love people who are curious about how things work. I love being with people who want to know the deeper meanings. I want to know the deeper things of how this works. So I'm glad to be here. Now, so as I talk about this, and we're going to have some fun tonight. I'm going to be sharing a lot of information, but we're going to be doing some demonstrations also about this. I just want to tell you how this came about, and a little brief history about my story, and you guys can kind of read me what my energy is while I'm talking, so I know you're, okay, what is he, well, all of that. So I grew up in Northern California here, a place called Marin County, just north of San Francisco, in a house that up until I was 12 years old was a very loving and safe and supportive place. And then around my 12th year, I had one or both parents kind of shifted, one in particular, and became somebody that I didn't recognize, and turned my house into a war zone, turned it into a place where there was tremendous emotional violence, and it became an unsafe place. And from going from a loving place into dealing with fear, anxiety, worry, threats, all this type of thing had a profound impact on me. And I left the house when I was 17. I just couldn't take it anymore, and I think I got to get away from that. I got to get away from that craziness, that nut house. And even though I left the house there and left the pain and anxiety and the stress and the stuff that I experienced as a kid, that stuff didn't leave me. And as I went to make my way in the world, with typical bravado of a young man, of my stature, I would say, okay, I'm gonna conquer the world. I'm gonna be successful. I'm gonna make my way in the world. And I attempted to do that in a variety of different professions and experienced some great success. But all the while, I was carrying inside the results of what I experienced at home. And I began to talk about patterns. I would begin to notice that no matter what I was doing, that stuff, I didn't know what to call it then, but that stuff was still affecting me. Even though I was hundreds of miles away from my parents' house, it still had an effect on me. And I saw it cropping up in I saw the fear and the anxiety and the stress coming up in my relationships and my interactions with people. I saw it cropping up in my career and the jobs I was doing. I thought, what is this? It's like there's somebody inside me that's trying to wreck me, that there's this voice in my head that's going, you're no good, you're not gonna be successful, you're not worthy. I'm like, where's this coming from? What is this thing? And so I went conventionally, talked to some people, got some counseling about it. They just said, well, it's something that you're going through, you'll grow out of it. Okay, I didn't grow out of it. Actually, it kind of got worse as I started operating in the world. And then I got into the personal development industry. I don't know if anybody you can relate to that, but I said, you know what, I got to fix myself. I got to get some healing going on here because I don't know what this thing is, but I know there's something wrong inside and I got to fix it. So I went into the personal development industry and started studying every kind of discipline I could get my hands on. I got all the books. I got over 300 books in my bookcase, reading all the how to be successful, how to overcome your thing, and all like this. And interesting read, not much results, but very interesting to read though. And then I do the seminars. I walked on fire. Anybody walk on fire here? You walked on fire, okay, great. My toes were singed, but the anxiety didn't go away, okay? In fact, I got more anxiety, wonder if I was gonna burn my feet. But, okay, so I'm like, yeah, everything's going great, Okay, so I go out in the desert, man, and I'm doing vision quests, and I'm doing tracking. I'm with the Native Americans, and we're doing sweat lodges, and it was a lot of fun. Came back, still there. Started working with one of the leading personal development people in the world. You may have heard of it, called neuro-linguistic programming. Worked with the founder of that for many years and saw some amazing things, traveled all over the world. I hear some people here from Switzerland, from Zurich. That was my last seminar that I did with him, and we had a blast, learned a lot. It's still there. Wow. So I thought, well, what is this thing? So to make a fascinating story even shorter, it came to the point where there were decades where I'm dealing with this stuff. I don't know what it is, why it is. I just notice I don't like the way I feel inside so much of the time. And it brought me to a place where I started learning different things that started to come together. So I started learning about neuroscience, okay? That was fascinating, started learning about that. Then I started learning about deep spirituality, Kabbalah, Buddhism. Did it fall out? Okay, thank you. Does that look okay? Now I can do it on this one. There we go. All right, so and then I started learning how to do energy healing, and I have an energy master's, and I'm over here and I'm over there, and I'm studying all this stuff and I'm kind of banging all back and forth. And then I had an epiphany about 10 years ago where everything that I studied and everything that I had experienced all came together. And as it came together, I discovered or was downloaded or recognized the field of energy awareness. And that's what I wanted to share with you. And that energy awareness, the ability to see these hidden worlds that I'm speaking about, was the one thing that healed me, that took away, that didn't just deaden it, it took it away. Anxiety gone, stress gone, fear gone, trauma gone, boom, boom. And I'm like, whoa, it's gone. It's gone. And probably was one of the most exciting moments of my life during that time where that started to happen. And as a result of that, this momentum started taking place, and I started sharing this with others. I've been doing seminars and speaking and working with people in the recovery community. So I had a lot of people that I was always trying to help, at whatever shape that I was in. I was always kind of a giver. And then I started sharing energy awareness training with the people that were around me, and their stuff started clearing up. The stuff that they'd been dealing with for years, their traumas, their fears, their anxiety, all this stuff started clearing up, and I'm like, whoa. And it was like the energy chose me. It was like I didn't choose the energy. It's like something's working through me. And what's happened is since then, in this short time, you know, from seeing people in my office in West Hollywood, that's West Hollywood I live in, not Hollywood, okay? I want you to know there's a big difference. How many people know the difference between West Hollywood and Hollywood? Great, good, just making that point here. So in West Hollywood, where the people tend to be nicer and more sane, that's where I live. And I was seeing people in my office, and word was getting around, and pretty soon, you know, celebrities and well-known people started coming, and I have somebody sitting I have this, you know, somebody, famous movie star on that I'm thinking to myself, this guy has everything. I'm thinking to myself, this guy has everything you could want in the world. Fame, fortune, $1 million, miserable. He's miserable. And I'm thinking, holy smokes. And they heard about me, and I would work with them with their stuff and started teaching them the training. So who I am, yes, I am an energy healer. But by and large, what I do is I teach energy awareness training. I teach people how to identify and be aware of this vast world that we're all in. It's kind of like teaching fish how to be aware of water. You know, you're already all in it. You're already dealing with it. But just like what you do in Personality Hacker, where you go deeper, and that depth gives you more perception, which is enable you to do more, it's the same thing with energy. So that's what I wanted to mention. So that's where I came, and that's who's standing in front of you here this evening. So let's talk about this thing, energy. We've all heard that word, energy. I remember in 7th grade, my teacher said, Albert Einstein says everything is energy. And I went, oh, the molecules in motion. I'm all, cool. What time's recess? You know, it's like, how does that affect me? And so, but the seed was planted. And then when I came to this quote by Nikola Tesla, not the car company, the guy who was the inventor that they named the car company for. And he said, if you really want to understand the mysteries and the secrets of life, then you'll start to look at things in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration. And what that told me is, if everything's energy that we're dealing with, then the energies that we're dealing with have a code to them, have a frequency, have a vibration. And those codes and those energies, like the personality types, give you information, give you insight about how these energies work. And that's what I want to share with you tonight, exactly how these energies work. So, you know, I think to explain it, because when people hear energy, they go, oh, is this some new age crystal thing, or are you doing solar panels, or what do you mean by energy? You know, energy thing like that. I said, no, I'm going to talk to you, and everything I'm talking to you is based on science, but it's a meta-science, which means it's gone faster than the scientific community can recognize. You know, it'll probably recognize it in about 20 years. But the information and the training is so important because it changes people's lives. And that's the most important thing. You know, everybody in this room has different goals and outcomes, but the one thing that we all have in common is that we all want to change. We're all here, and we want to be over here. And we've all had the experience to know that change is a bitch, right? How many people recognize that change is a bitch, man? If it was easy, we would have done it. So what is this thing that we're trying to change? You know, where it's like we're here and we're here and we want to be here, and we start getting close to what we're doing here, and then something pulls us back. What is that thing? That was my question for it. So when I'm talking about hidden energies, I'm talking about energies that are influencing us in this world, both internally and externally. And we're dealing with them every day, whether you know them or not. Now, every day we make decisions the human experience is we make decisions about what's good for us. We have to make decisions about what to eat, who to work for, who to love, who to fire, what's best for our kids, where we're going to live. Everything's a decision, right, that we're making. And this illustrates the concept of energy. Now, sometimes we make right decisions, but a lot of times we make the wrong decisions. I don't know, maybe this crowd's different. Anybody ever made a wrong decision that they were trying to make right? Anybody here? 1, 2, 3? Everybody. We've all thought, okay, I'm going to decide, how about this relationship I'm going to get into? That's one everyone can relate to. Oh, it looks good. They look good. They sound good. Looks good on paper. All right, I'm going to sign up for it. I'm going to get into it. Why? Because I want it to work out. Because I'm looking for love. Because I want to give love and be loved. And so then it works out for a while, and then it shifts. What shifts? The energy shifts. Maybe they're not as loving as they were before. Maybe they're disinterested. Maybe they got a temper. And what happens is the energy starts to shift. And you go, hey, wait a minute. I didn't sign up for this. What's the deal? So something shifted in there, and the outcome became what you didn't sign up for. You know, a breakup or a heartbreak, and then, you know, the thing is over, and you go, oh, if only I had known then what I know now, I never would have done that. Anybody ever said that to themselves? Anybody here? If only I had known then what I know now, I never would have done that. Oh, and yet many of you think, oh, you know what? There were signs there. There were signs that I shouldn't have gotten involved in this thing, but I didn't listen. Right? I didn't take them up. And I thought, well, why didn't you? You got a sign. Why didn't you? I don't know. Oh, and I love the one that says, you know, there was a voice inside me that says, don't do it. Don't do it. You don't do it. And I didn't listen to it. Oh, why didn't I listen to it? I don't know. I just didn't listen to it. Oh, well, wouldn't it be cool if you could know the outcome of what you're about to do, what decisions you're going to make, relationships you're going to be in, place you're going to move, jobs you're going to take, whatever you're going to do, if you could know the direction where has a tendency to go before you get involved, not after. How many would think that might be a useful skill? Raise your hands. Useful skill? Yes, yes, yes. No? Yes? Okay. You bet it'd be a skill. So when I'm talking about energy, let's use the iceberg analogy. 10% above the water you can see, 90% below the water you can't see. And the Titanic wasn't sunk by the 10% it could see, it was sunk by the 90% that it couldn't see. So I have a saying in my work that says, that which we can see, we can control. That which we can't see controls us. And this is the missing link, so to speak, of why things happen to us. Why do things happen to us? How come this? Why does this work out? Etc. So much of life for so many people is, life's a mystery. I don't know why this thing works out. Now you guys are figuring out personality types, so I'm in the right room. You figure if you know what a personality type is, you know what a tendency of behavior is. You know how people have a tendency to act based on their type. Well, it's the same thing with energy. We have energies that are all affecting us every day. And they're multitudes of energies, and I'm going to identify them for you tonight so you can have some deep energetic awareness. Speaking of awareness, all of us are used to dealing with reality in a three-dimensional world. So the reality that you and I live in, you know, get up, go to work, go to school, you know, go on a date, whatever it is, it's a three-dimensional reality. And that's what we based our decisions on. When I'm talking about making the right decisions, we make the decisions based on what we can see and hear in the third dimension, in the three dimensions. Well, science says lately that we have 10 dimensions, maybe 12, maybe even more dimensions of reality. So if that's the case, then we're making our operating system, our reality, we're making judgments based on what? Do the math, 20, 30%? That means we're missing out on 60, 70% of reality. Wow, no wonder we make bad decisions. No wonder we make mistakes. No wonder we're in combat with these forces in us, because we're missing out, you know, on a majority of what's going on. So to illustrate that fact, it's like the lights. We have lights that we can see. There's lights that you can't see. You know, the ultraviolet lights, you can't see those lights, yet they're here. You can't see cell waves, you know, cell phone waves, but they're all over the room. So energy awareness training identifies what these energies are and how they work so that you can use that other 50, 60, 70% as you go out into this world. Because everything that you're dealing with is energy. Einstein was right. Now I get it. Okay, now I get it. It took me 25 years, but now I understand what he's talking about, that everything is energy. Now, according to what Tesla said, I've expanded what Tesla said. Not only does it have energy and frequency, but I recognize all energy has a power, a purpose, a frequency, a direction, and it gives off energy. That's what I teach in energy awareness training. A power, a purpose, a direction, a frequency, and it gives off information. So if everything's energy, especially human beings, we are living, walking, breathing, energetic sending and receiving vehicles. All of you have, you know, I need to tell you, you all have an energy force. You know, the life force energy, and you all emit an aura or an energy field. And that energy field is based upon your internal energy, based upon the energy that you're radiating. And where does that energy come? That energy comes from the degree of frequency that you're currently at. Now, the cool thing, I don't know what they teach about the personality types, but in energy awareness training, you can change seemingly hopeless situations. You know, introverts can be extroverts. People who are afraid can be courageous. You can flip whatever it is because, and ultimately, the highest energies are unlimited. So we're in an unlimited, all possibility energy field if you know how to tap into it. So that's what I want to be able to share with you a little bit today. Is this making sense? You guys with me so far? Yeah. Yeah, man. Yeah. Okay. So let's talk about these energies. Again, as I mentioned, the energies are working internally and externally. So I have a couple of energetic laws I want to share with you guys as part of my work. The foundation, when I teach my students, is to learn the energetic laws that we're dealing with. Now, some of them are common sense, but you know, like the Einstein quote about everything's energy, it's common sense, but it doesn't relate. Like, for example, first energetic law is everything's energy. Okay, you, me, everything's energy. Okay, got that one. Second one, everything that is seen comes from the unseen. Very important energetic law. Everything that is seen comes from the unseen. Everything that is physical comes from the non-physical. And this is one of the foundations of energy awareness training. So you take for human beings, for example, okay? 9 months before we were born, you know, our parents went out on a date and they had a great time and they were thinking of us, and boom, 9 months later we show up. From a non-physical energy comes physicality. You know, the board here, once upon a time it didn't exist. Somebody had a thought that said, hey, let's put together a whiteboard. Okay, what do we need to do that? Well, you know, we need to get the whiteboard, we need to get the wood and the hinges, and pretty soon we have that. Why that's so important is because what I mentioned when I started my talk, everything that we're dealing with has an energetic underpinning. So when we're looking for the answers and we can't find them, the answer is always in the energy. Okay, I'm going to repeat that. If you guys take a note, that's the big line. The answer is always in the energy. So when I work with couples, you know, who are having challenges, I got some great stories about that. You know, and they're at an impasse. They've been to a marriage counselor, and well, I'll tell you the story. So I had a marriage couple. A guy called me up, a guy that I knew, and he says, Glenn, I want to come in. I need some energy awareness training. I'm about to go through a divorce, and I need help so I don't wreck my family. And I go, really? You know, I thought, wow, I thought you guys were so happy. You're married 12 years, got 2 beautiful children, and what's up? And he goes, man, there's nothing I can do to make her happy. I've just had it up to here. I just can't make her happy. It's never satisfied. Oh, okay, got it. So I said, yeah, okay, come on to work. And then I talked to the wife, and the wife says, I said, wow, you guys are breaking up? And Doris goes, yeah, we've made the decision. And I said, oh, well, how come? She said, I can't put up with him anymore. I've just had it up to here. Oh, okay. Now, I'm listening with different ears, just like you personality hackers. I'm not listening to the content. I'm looking at the energy. And what the energy's telling me I said to them, well, have you gone to the marriage counselor? And they go, yeah, it's just one big battle. You know, they're the referee. And finally they said last week, I think you guys are toast. You know, I think you got a divorce and call it a day. So that's why they're calling me. Okay. Well, so in the physical, the 3D world, they're toast, right? They're done. The marriage is over. But I'm looking at the energetic worlds. And what I'm seeing is that energy, the energies are blocked. The energies are blocked and haven't been released. And I'm going to explain how that works here tonight. But I'm seeing his energy is completely blocked. And it's filled with what I call low vibration energy, which is negativity. And low vibration energy or negativity creates more low vibration energy, more negativity. Same with her. So what I did with them is I said, look, I'll work with you guys. And I'll work with you energetically, and I'll show you how to clean your energy out, and then you guys can decide what you want to do. I said, fine. So I worked with him, worked with her, and I worked on the energy of the marriage, because when you have people in a relationship, there's 3 of you. There's the man or the woman, or the woman of the man, or the woman of the whatever the combination is, 2 people, and then there's the energy of the relationship that they have, and obviously that's took a hit. So I worked with them, and I took out all that low vibration energy. I didn't work with their issues. I didn't work with, he doesn't put the cap on the toothpaste, you know, she always nags me everything I go, and like, I didn't go there, you know. Leave that for the 10%. I want to work in the 90%. Remember the iceberg 10%, 90%? So I moved the energy out. And as I moved the energy out, there was nothing left but high vibration energy, but the good stuff, which is who we are naturally. And as a result of that, I said, okay, now I'm going to step back. You have the energies that have been blocking you and then keeping you separated are no longer there. Come together, and if you want to separate, good. If you want to get back together, whatever. And when that low vibration energy is gone, all that's left is the good stuff, the love, the appreciation, the blessings. So as a result, they came together, and they're still married, and everybody thinks it's a miracle. They're back together. I can't believe it. You know, yeah. Why? Because nothing changes until energy moves. And that's the fundamental thing that I want to share with you today. I have students who are medical doctors. I have students who are psychologists. You know, I remember the first time they came to me, a medical doctor came to me, and he didn't like the way he was feeling, and he knew there was something more. He had heard about me. So I said, you've got all medical, the whole medical community at your disposal to deal with your problem. You got psychiatrists, you got neurobiologists, everything, and you're coming to me, and he goes, yeah, because I couldn't find the answer there. You know, I'm gonna have to do drugs, put me on. I don't want to do any of that stuff. I hear you do natural stuff. I'm willing to try it out. I told the psychologist, I said, you're a psychologist? I said, you got a problem? She goes, I know where all my problems came from. You know, I talked about them in therapy for 30 years, but I still haven't been able to do anything about it. And that's when I hit him with the line, nothing changes until energy moves. And that's when I want to let you guys know that when we're healthy, whether it's healthy in relationship, healthy in health, healthy in money, healthy in self-awareness, it's because your energy is moving. You want to keep the energy moving. When energy's stuck, like if I had a glass of water here and I put it down on the table and I leave it there for a week and I come back, what's gonna happen to it? It's gonna be filled with bugs and yucky and dirt and stuff. You can't drink of it. Why? Because the energy's not moving. So when you learn energy awareness training, you learn how to keep that energy moving. And when anybody comes to me, whether it's an emotional challenge or whether it's a physical challenge, usually they've been to 10 or 20 other people to try to get results, and they haven't gotten it. And they're coming to me thinking I'm the last resort, you know. I remember, you know, when I started doing this, I had a friend of mine come to me who had a problem with his arm, and he says, man, he had frozen arm syndrome. You guys know what that is? Your arm's stuck and you can't lift your arm up. And I said to him, he goes, Glenn, I tried everything. I've been to everybody. I'm desperate. I'll even try you. And I go, oh, thanks. Well, I worked with him, and in 30 minutes, you know, I fixed his arm. But did I do it? No. I work with the energy. I work with the energy, and I'll mention that maybe a little bit later if I have time. So let's go a little bit deeper in the energy. Everybody good with me so far? Okay. Okay. Good. Right. So let's talk about this. Let's talk about this hidden energy and what's going on and how this works, because I think you'll find this absolutely fascinating. So out of all of the energies that are affecting us, you know, that are pulling us, people say to me, hidden energies? What are you talking about? Hidden, I don't know, how does that work? I said, well, it's New Year's Day. And after you've watched a football game and recovered from the night before, what does everybody do? What does everybody make on New Year's Day? Everybody? Say it. Resolutions. We make resolutions. Why? Because there's a force inside us that wants us to have a better life, that wants us to grow, to learn, to expand, to go to the next level. And this is a new year, a new beginning. So let's take an example. Let's say we're gonna lose, like, we drank too much, ate too much during the holidays. So, okay, I'm gonna lose weight. I'm gonna go to the gym and I'm gonna start eating right. Yeah. So you get jazzed about it. There's an energy that says, yeah, it's a new year, it's a new you. Ta-da, great. So you start going to the gym, right? And you start eating right, and you're on your program for a week, and you're, you know, cooking with this a week or 2 or 3, and about week number 3 or 4, what happens? There's another force. There's another motivation inside you that doesn't want you to go to the gym. It says, go to the gym. Oh, it's so cold outside. I'll go tomorrow. Okay, eat. Or eat right. You're out there and it says, oh, look at that. Look at that cake. Ooh, chocolate cake. Chocolate. I shouldn't do it, but it'll be okay. I'll start again tomorrow. Anybody ever been there? Show of hands. Everybody in there? You bet. We can relate to that. So what is that? We have 2 energies or frequencies or directions pulling us one way and pulling us the other. So when you've got 2 energies pulling in opposite directions, what happens? Nothing. Nothing happens, and you get stuck. And when you get stuck, nothing happens, and the energy's not moving. And then you move down into it's a month or 2. You're off your program, and I'll do it. I'll try it next year. And then you don't feel good about it. It's kind of like a yucky feeling. The energies have struck. The energies have struck. So what are these energies? That's the analogy of what I'm talking about, is that there are forces that are influencing us all the time. So let's go into this. Let's piggyback on what Tesla said and talk about the first one, which is high vibration energy. High vibration energy. What's that? Well, we're going to define that as, in no particular order, happiness. You're happy, joy, peace, abundance, creativity, flow, transparency, being in your truth. High vibration energy is light. Both lights, L-I-G-H-T, and light and light. High vibration energy is expanding. It's moving up. It's moving out. There's a great feeling of fulfillment. You're in your power. You're in alignment with you're healthy. You're loved. And this shows up as, gratitude. You're grateful for what you have. How do you create more? You're of service to people. You share. Every time you share or you're of service to people, it expands your energy, right? Anytime you do any of this stuff, what's the creative flow? You're creating an art, whether it's a painting or music or a play or something. You're creating something out of nothing. So this is the energy taking form. The energy taking form. So this is what I'm talking about in high vibration energy. This is the place we want to be. Everything that we do is a win-win. So if I'm making a deal with you, I want to win, but I want you to win too. This is the place where we were born into. We were all born into this world in high vibrational energy. You ever see a little kid who says, I'm depressed, I've got anxiety, I need a Vicodin? No, they're happy. These little kids are a baby, ooh, happy. The little kids running around, just happy. That's the natural state we come into this world as, in high vibrational energy, And then what happens? The energetic laws I talked about, reminding you that everything that is seen comes to the unseen. The next energetic law is the law of duality or polarity, which means if I have an up, I have a down. If I have a good, I have a bad. If I have a right, I have a wrong. If I have a left, I have a right. If the time goes in, the tide goes out. If there's a male, there's a female, etc. So, first question to the class. If I have a high vibration energy, then there's also going to be a what? A low vibration energy. Very good. Now, this is all the stuff that we don't want. This is just the opposite. The energies of, it's dark, it's stuck, it's moving down, it's closing in. There's lack, there's stress, there's anxiety, there's desperateness. And here's the big one, self-attack. Self-attack, what's that? It's the thoughts in your head that says, you're not good enough. You're not worthy. Other people are better than you. Your father was right when he said you never amount to nothing. I'm like, oh, okay. That's what you call self-attack. See, all these things that occur, remember, they're energies. It's an energy that's taking place. So we have low vibration energy. We have low vibration deceit, just the opposite of what's over here. Isolated. Obsessive compulsive, addiction, despair. I think you get the general idea. This is a low vibration energy. So what I'm here to tell you is that all of us in this dimension, we're dealing with these two energies. We deal with the high vibration energy, the joy, the fulfillment in our lives, all the good stuff. But unfortunately, we got to deal with this too, the low vibration energy. Now, the purpose of high vibration energy, in my work, in my experience, the purpose of this is to lift us up out of our current state that we come into. So whatever our issues are, we come into this world and you recognize, like I recognize, man, I got some issues. I got some stuff in me that needs to be handled. The high vibration energies is there to lift us up, to bring us out of the low vibration energy, and to have us achieve what I call energetic freedom. Some people call it awareness, consciousness. People even call it enlightenment. But it's the ability to transcend the third dimension and to move into a higher frame of consciousness. And whatever you want to call that is fine with me, but I'm explaining, energy to people, and I know this kind of borders sometimes on the spiritual, the religious, but I try to keep that out of here because I'm just talking about energy right now. This energy is to lift us up, to heal us, and to move into a place where I call energetic freedom, and that's what I teach, which is the ability. What is energetic freedom? The ability to stay in a high vibratory field no matter what you go through in life. In other words, to be able to eliminate suffering, to eliminate human suffering, and to be able to be energetically free. Because if you think about it, most of our suffering are the thoughts and the feelings and the beliefs that we have about what happened to us or about what's currently happening to us, what we're dealing with. And when we think about it and we don't have the answer, the low vibration energy wants to create a spin on that. And say, oh, well, you don't know the answer to this. Well, maybe it might work out. Maybe it's going south. Maybe and it brings on these traits. So the purpose of high vibration energy this is what it's all, when you're in a high vibration energy, life's great. But we don't stay here. Why? Because the low vibration energy comes into play. And this low vibration energy, these are both active energies here, both internally and in the universe, in the world itself. So you can see examples of this, of high vibration energy. Hey, Christmas time, holidays coming around, goodwill, good cheer. That's a pretty high vibration energy state. But if you want to see how the low vibration energy works, all you got to do is turn on the 5 o'clock news or the 11 o'clock bad news. I did 2 nights ago. I don't know what I was thinking. I was flipping around. It was after the football game, and I'm flipping around, and they had the 10 o'clock news on. I'm like, the shooting happened over here, and a new fire over here, and explosion over here, and kidnapping. I'm thinking, oh my gosh, 5 bad news in 30 seconds. I can't. Low vibration energy. So a couple of energetic laws. High vibration energy creates more high vibration energy. Low vibration energy creates more low vibration energy. So in this world, and again, I'm not asking you to believe anything. Just take what I'm saying and look in your own experience and see if it's true. That's all I'm offering, because this is what I notice from my experience. And in all the studies that I've done, being able to put them together to be able to explain energy awareness to people who never heard about it before, who wonder, what's it all about, Alfie, right? How do things work out? So we have these energies here, and we're in constant play. The purpose of the high vibration energy is to lift us up. The purpose of the low vibration energy is to block this energy, to keep us out of high vibration energy. And it does a pretty good job of it, because it works and it hacks into our thoughts, into our emotions. It's an energy that can actually hack into our experience. Now you're thinking, what are you talking about? Energy hacking your experience? I'll give you an example. I told you I'm from San Francisco. So I used to drive across the Golden Gate Bridge all the time. And one day I'm driving across the bridge, and it's a beautiful day, and I'm listening to the chatter in my head. The thoughts are going, hey, a nice view out there. Well, yeah, nice view out there. And hey, traffic's going good. You're going to get in there no time, in the city, no time. Yeah. And hey, you're probably going to have a great time tonight. Yeah, I'm listening to the thoughts. Yeah. And then the thought says, why don't you drive into the ongoing traffic on the other side and see what happens? What was that? What? The voice as loud as I'm talking to you right now. Drive into the opposite ongoing traffic. That's suicide. That would wreck my whole night. Why would I want to do that? Right? And I thought, whoa, that's not my thought. That's not what I would choose for myself. What is that? Where does that come from? Where does those thoughts that want to tear us down or ultimately destroy us, where does that come from? What is it? I identify it as an energy, as a low vibration energy that has characteristics, that has a power, a purpose, a frequency, a direction, and gives off information. Now, for most people, when they think that, a lot of people go, oh my God, how can I think something like that? I must be going crazy. I better go see a psychiatrist, I better get some medicine. I'm screwed up, man. I'm like, no. And then that brings on more low vibration energy, right? Well, when you become aware of this, you recognize that in your body, in your energetic makeup, these two energies are constantly trying to influence you. One of them's trying to bring you up. One of them's trying to take you down. Now, what's interesting is this energy, the high vibration energy, the stuff that we want, it comes to us differently than this one. The low vibration energy comes and visits us every day. It delivers like Domino's pizza. Man, it is knock, knock, here you are. Hey, good morning. It used to hit me right when I woke up. Glenn, are you awake? Hello? Glenn, are you awake? You're awake? Okay. Well, what if you lose your job today, right? And what if the car doesn't start, right? And do you have enough money to pay those bills? Oh my gosh, what just pound. I'm like, oh my gosh, pound, pound, pound. You know, where is this? It's like, what is this? What is this thing that's attacking me? What is this process in me that's trying to pull me in a direction? I didn't know then, but now I know. It's the low vibration energy. And it's got a power, which is negativity. It's got a purpose to take me down. It's got a frequency, which is low. And it's got and it gives me information. Power, purpose, frequency, direction, and it gives me information. So, okay, now I'm aware of that. So the first step in your energy education is awareness, is aware of how the energies affect you, how they affect you inside, internally, and how they affect us globally. So many of the things that people are dealing with, you know, people are dealing with depression, people are dealing with so much stress, with anxiety, and what do? We've got a society now where all of those things have magnified over time. So we have shootings, mass shootings, practically every month. I don't know about you, but when I was a kid, there weren't any shootings. You know, maybe that was the golden age, but now it's ridiculous. Oh, and you know what? I've tracked all these guys who do the shooting, and they're all steeped in low vibration energy. All of this dark, stuck, anxiety, desperate, isolated, boom, moving in that energy. And what does that do? The purpose of the low vibration energy is to take you down. How far down do you think it wants to take you? All the way down. All the way down. So if it can keep you out of high vibration and keep framing the narrative, which is, you know, life sucks. You don't seem to be going anywhere. You know, you're 30 years old and you thought you'd be, or you're 40 years old, or you're 50 years old, you thought you'd be here and you're not there. Life's just not, is it really worth, come on, is it really worth living? Do you really want to keep going through this? You know, you have this conversation like, whoa, somebody's trying to convince me to, you know, to do the dastardly deed. Get out of it. Thank God most of us deal with it, but some people go, yeah, my life is tough. Yeah, it seems like it's not worth living. Yeah, take myself out. Yeah, okay, all right, boom. And you see people you never thought in a million years, you know, taking themselves, like Anthony Bourdain. Holy smokes, here's a guy who's got everything you could want, you would think. You know, a great job. I mean, you're getting paid to travel and eat at the best restaurants all over the world. I don't know, Mommy, that sounds like a pretty good job to me, right? Get paid millions of dollars. You got a fiance, you got kids. I mean, what do you want? It wasn't enough. It wasn't enough because he wasn't energetically aware to be able to withstand the low vibration energy. And this is, whether you recognize it or not, the fight that we're all in, the process that we're all in our lives. Because the process of life is one of challenge. You know, it's not easy living. You know, there's life's stressful, right? Paying bills, right? Going to work, you know, managing a family, making sure your spouse is happy, you know, work, taking care of the car, you start getting older, taking care of parents. I mean, you got all this stuff going on. And all of those things are potential stress. And if you don't know how to deal with the stress becomes low vibration energy. And what's the purpose of low vibration energy? To what? To take you down. Or the abbreviated word is suffering. Well, my work, I want to eliminate that. I want to eliminate this low vibration energy. And I recognize that when you're aware of how this works, you can extend this, you can have more high vibration energy, and you can dissolve this low vibration energy. Okay? Now, let me show you something that's kind of cool. You guys with me so far? Is this of interest here? Guys, cool? Okay. All right. Let's hack the energy. Okay? I'm gonna hack this right now to show you this. As you can see, I flunked out of art school, but this is the head and this is the body. Now, so everything that we do is an energetic exchange. Okay? We're having one right now. You're having one here. Whatever you do, it doesn't matter what. If you're on this earth and your heart's beating, you're having an energetic exchange. Now, again, all energy has a power, a purpose, a frequency, a direction, and it gives off information. So, the law that I talked about, the law of duality, come back to that one. So we have a physical body, and we all learned in the third dimension, in the physical, we got a physical body, and as we go out and do our day's work or whatever we're doing, at the end of the day, what? We get sweaty, we get dirty. So what do? Well, we gotta clean this body, right? And if you don't clean it, well, you might be able to get away for a day or so, but pretty soon, the world around you is gonna give you some information about your body cleaning habits. Well, it's the same thing with us. We have an energy body. They didn't tell me this in school, they didn't tell me this in high school or college, but we have an energy body. And that energy body, that's the place where we store our energies. And it's kind of like a backstop, especially for the low vibration energy, kind of like a radiator. You ever see the radiators, you see the flies, it accumulates that kind of stuff. Well, every day we have between 10 to 20,000 thoughts going through our head a day. That's what the behaviors say. That's a lot of thoughts. And in that thought process, they say at least 50 to 60% of those thoughts are low vibration energy. So it's like the thought you have like, oh, wait a minute, did I leave the stove on? Oh, did I leave the keys in the car? Did I call somebody about that? So every time I have it's a unit of energy. It's a unit of low vibration energy that gets planted inside you. So do you notice when I say, notice what my body's doing? I'm constricting. I'm in tension. What kind of energy? Constricting and tension. What kind of energy is that, gang? It's low vibration energy. What does low vibration energy bring more of? More low vibration energy. So we have this taking place inside us. And all of us, especially when you get really stressed or you go through an upsetting thing, it takes you a while to recover. You can actually feel it. People who are really stressed, they get ulcers. Where's the ulcer? Boom, right in here, right where that energy body is. So what happens is, if we don't clean this, it accumulates and accumulates and accumulates and accumulates and accumulates. And pretty soon, it's so filled up, it's like a pressure cooker. You put one more thing into it, and what happens? What happens? Explosion. So when people's lives go upside down, that's when the challenge happens. Nobody needs any help when everything's going great. But unfortunately, life's not like that. You see, we were taught in the educational system to look at life linearly. If you do this, then you'll get this, then you take this step, and then you do this, and you'll get that. Well, that works. That may work for mathematics, and it may work, for the things like getting a job or getting in shape. But 50% of life is nonlinear. 50% of life is relationships, thoughts, feelings, emotions, how to deal with stress, how to deal with challenge, how to deal with the changing fortunes in your life. And that can't be dealt with in a linear fashion. And if you try to do that, you will fail miserably because you can't use a linear formula to deal with a nonlinear situation. So if you tell somebody who's maybe lost a loved one. Oh, well, if you think positive, you'll feel better. So think positive, feel better, and it'll be, they're like, get out of here. What are you talking about? Because it doesn't work that way. It works energetically. And as I mentioned, the purpose of my work is to be able to navigate all the different facets of life that we go through so that you can be energetically aware to deal with this. So here's an example. You got this stuff going on. All of us have this stress going on. Well, how do we deal with it? How do we deal with our stress? Well, one way is to just ignore it. That's when everybody says, oh, I got stress, I'll ignore it. Okay, well, you can ignore your stress, stress being low vibration energy. So since energy is always expanding, what's that stress going to do? What's it going to do? Expand. It's going to expand. It's going to get worse. So that doesn't work. Okay, what's another way to do it? How about medicating ourselves? Yeah. I have a drink, it makes me feel better. Okay, it deadens the stress for an hour, and then what? Well, I gotta have another drink. And now I'm creating a habit, an addiction to deal with my stress. So now the energy is just expanded twice. That doesn't work, right? Acting out. People act out and go into do benders or crazy behavior. The only way to be able to deal with this is to be able to do what I teach and other people teach too, but the ability to release energy. You've got to learn how to be able to energetically process and release this energy. Because if you don't, it's going to stick with you. Now, what's interesting is my work and my discoveries have been validated actually by a Swiss psychiatrist. No, I take it back. He's a Dutch psychiatrist. And he wrote a best-selling book that's on the New York Times best-selling list called The Body Keeps Score. You guys heard of that? The Body Keeps Score by, I think his name is Dr. van der Kolk. And he basically is saying the same thing that I am in that we're dealing with an energetic force. We're dealing with energies. So this is why it's such a challenge now with people who are dealing with these energies. So in low vibration energy, there's 3 types of energy. There's your daily low vibration energy, there's your regularly occurring low vibration energy, and then there's your historical. So in energy awareness training, the first thing you learn how to do is you learn how to deal with your daily stress. You know, somebody cuts you off at traffic, you know, or the paper doesn't come, or you know, you have a blackout, something like that takes place. Okay, that's stressful. That's something like, oh no, oh no. What's that doing? Here's another, oh no, another addition. So you learn methods and techniques to be able to learn how to release that energy. And there's a multitude of ways. I teach about 10 different ways to do that. But the essence is just having the consciousness to move the energy out. See, most of us, when we get bad news or we get stressed or we get challenged, we go into this, basically it's called fight or flight syndrome, I'm sure, where you go in and you're spiking chemicals that are having you deal with low vibration energy. But those chemicals are really bad for you. They're over time, they can actually sap your immune system. Cortisol, there's another one, I forget it. And what happens is, it's so interesting, you see people who are really into health. This is kind of boggles the mind. You see people who are exercise, they're exercise gurus, or they're nutrition gurus, or they're meditation gurus and stuff, and a lot of them die young. You think, whoa, you're supposed to, your method is supposed to help you live longer, and yet they die young. Why is that? Well, you can take care of you can eat correctly, you can exercise, you can think positive, but if you don't move this energy out that's inside you, it's going to eat away at you. And this low vibration energy, how it works is, as it starts to expand, if you don't clean it, it starts to move into your emotions. So, you ever notice if somebody's kind of having a rough time, a lot of times they'll what? They might be in a challenging situation, maybe going through a divorce or a breakup or something, and what happens? They get down, or they get depressed, or their emotions start moving down. And then you can see them going, whoa, you weren't like this before. Yeah, it's having a toll on me. I had one of my students was the wife of a famous rock star, and she came to me and started working with me the day that he left her for a younger woman. And I started working with her energy. She had a psychiatrist, she had a addiction counselor, she had an in-home coach, and then she started working with me. So I started working with her for about five times. She started making great progress, and when she came to me, she was literally crying her eyes out, and it was sent to me because she couldn't function. And I worked with her, and I did some of the energy work I'm going to do with you guys here in a minute, and boom, she snapped out of it and went from low vibration to high vibration energy very quickly. Now, she started making great progress until the psychiatrist said, what are you doing? You're working with some energy guy in West Hollywood? Oh, come on. You got to be kidding me. I don't recommend you do that. And the addiction counselor says, you're working with an energy guy in West Hollywood? What are you kidding? I don't recommend you do that. So you know what? After 5 sessions, she stopped working with me. She says, you know what? They won't let me. I'm sorry. I said, okay. I said, just notice where you were when you came to me, and where you are now. You're functioning now, right? You're basically on your way back to recovery. You're dealing with this big divorce, this crisis. Yeah. I said, okay. So I didn't hear from her for a while, and a year later, a mutual friend of ours says she came down with breast cancer. And I thought, oh my gosh, she's coming down with breast cancer. And I called her. I couldn't get a hold of her. She had moved and everything, and 14 months later, she passed away. Now, I mentioned that because remember I said the solution to everything ultimately is energy. So she was working with the best, medical people that she could, and yet it wasn't enough. And this is the new paradigm of healing. Energy, finding out what that is. Because what she had a big glob of low vibration energy here inside her. And talking about it doesn't move it. Taking some form of prescription drugs doesn't move it. Positive thinking doesn't move it. Nothing changes until energy moves. So this gives you kind of an idea. Now, when I was working with her, we recognized what I did with her is I said, look, right now you're upside down emotionally. You're going through something. And you know what? We all go through stuff. We're all dealing with things. So I said, you're going through a rough time now. So during this rough time, that's when the low vibration energy can really strike. That's when it can piggyback on what's going on. And see, you're getting divorced. I told you you're not lovable. You can't keep a man. You don't deserve love. All of those crazy thoughts, they start to magnify. You ever notice that? Like during a breakup, you're like, whoa, you're not lovable. You can't have the one. And you're just going down. So what we did was move into a high vibration energy field of all the things that were blessings in her life. And we accentuated this, and we started moving that energy. So we never let any of these thoughts or emotions park inside her. We took this energy body and cleaned it every day while I was working with her, cleaned it, and as a result, high vibration energy. At least when I was working with her, she was a happy person. Now, I mention that too because I do a lot of work with people in serious illnesses, and they come to me because they don't have any other alternative. And what do? I move the energy. And I haven't lost one that continues to work with me. If that one stopped, so unfortunately. But this is the revelation I want to give you. And this is applicable in everything that we're doing. I work with sports people, sports stars, coaches. And I think, well, what does that have to do with energy? You see energy everywhere you go. And it's really cool if you go to the movies, once you're energy aware, you know what's going to happen at the movie. Once you see who the players are and what the energy they're in, you know exactly what's going to happen in that movie. And this is the cool thing about being energetically aware. You can know, if you really study how the energies work, you can know where something's going. You can know where a relationship is going. You can know where a business is going. You can know where a health is going, because there are energetic laws in this world that are here that will reveal us the other 70%, the other 7 dimensions, if we become aware and if we study that. So this is kind of like I'm summing up my whole work here in less than an hour, but I hope that made sense to you.